Hi, everyone. I'm Matt Ricker,
And I'm Catherine White, Executive Director of the New Rochelle Chamber of Commerce.
and we're here with the brand new podcast, Chamber Chat. So, joining us now is Otilia Taylor-Tanner, the founder of Bumble Books right here in New Rochelle.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us. And you were actually one of our guests on our old show, the Chamber Show on WVOX. So, thanks for coming by.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting me.
Of course. So tell us a little bit about Bumble Books and how it got started and what made you start it.
Well, we started thinking about it in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
There was a neighborhood bookstore in Larchmont going out of business, and I thought, oh, this would be perfect timing. And then I hesitated a little bit because I wanted my own identity, and I wanted to make sure that I was addressing the needs in classrooms. So I work in the classroom. I'm a special education teaching assistant here in New Rochelle, and I knew that there were some things missing regarding marginalized communities. So I wanted my own name with our own focus on giving voice to marginalized communities. So that was in 2019. And luckily I didn't move on it because then COVID hit.
Right.
And I would have been bankrupt.
Yeah. Not the time to be leasing a store.
Exactly. So, but interestingly, independent booksellers did very well during COVID because the big box stores were closed and they were not willing to, the others were not willing to ship books. It wasn't a priority. So anyone who had an independent stand, they were selling books. And people really wanted to get back to holding a book and turn the screen off. So that's when we started to really just think about things and do some vending events and things like that.
So you have a big presence at the holiday market. You're there this year. You were there last year. So tell us what you're selling at the holiday market.
Well, we have wonderful books. I love all of them. So luckily, I can order them and sell them. And then when one of my favorite books sells, it's like, oh shoot, I wanted to. Hopefully that wouldn't sell and I could keep it for myself. But yes, this is our 4th year at the holiday market. It's really wonderful. The lights are really nicely done. The market looks really beautiful. Our booth, I think, looks really good. And we have wonderful, we have several variations of the Nutcracker, the traditional Nutcracker, the Nutcracker in Harlem. We have Charlotte and the Nutcracker. So I look for things like that in particular. We have a book of fairy tales. So it's a wonderful time to have fantasy and think about fairy tales like the Nutcracker, Cinderella, Hansel and Gretel's, things that you tell during the fireside chats. So I have a book with several different types of fairy tales, including fairy tales and stories from the diaspora, African diaspora.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're doing, and of course books in other languages as well.
And now this is a fun question, but I'm sure it's going to be a hard question. What is your favorite children's book?
Oh, that's a hard question. Of course, my first love was The Snowy Day. And I loved Ezra Jack Keats. I didn't know Ezra Jack Keats was not a black man until maybe just 5 years ago. I just absolutely loved him. I appreciated knowing that there was a story with someone that looked like me. I still love The Snowy Day. I love the fact that there's a story with a child who lives in a building instead of feeling like you don't belong because you don't live in a home with a picket fence. So I still love The Snowy Day. I love that book. That's one of my favorite books, and I have to say it's still my favorite book. It was definitely one of my first books that I remember. I'm not a Dr. Seuss fan necessarily, so I don't have any books with I have the Grinch Who Stole Christmas in Spanish. I think it's a lot of fun, and it looks great. But my favorite children's book still, I think it would be The Snowy Day.
Nice. And what's one thing that attracted you to start your business in New Rochelle?
Well, I mean, New Rochelle is a diverse, intelligent community with diverse, intelligent families with children who want to learn and parents who want to teach and read. So this is something that we need in New Rochelle. I wanted to give voice and have community space in New Rochelle. I live in New Rochelle. I teach in New Rochelle. And I love our community. And our community is a special community because we're intelligent, articulate, diverse folks with lots of different stories. And because of our different stories, I thought it's a place that we should have different experiences and find ourselves, although different, on the shelves in the same location.
Right. Now, I was just at the market just the other day, and I bought a children's flap book for Christmas, and it was cute. Peter Rabbit, very cute. And my plan is to come back because you had some other children's book or babies books in Spanish, because a new relative in our family is expecting a baby, and we need some, books in different languages. But I've also bought books for myself from you at different events, not necessarily at the holiday market, but at Juneteenth or a street fair and places like that. So, do you have a specific age group? Is it only kids, or like what kind of books do you stock all the way around?
I try to figure out and feel the climate, what's happening in our city and in our nation. So if I have adult books, it's not going to be Danielle Steele. It's going to be something addressing social justice. So and it's in a comfortable space. So that was originally our intent with the Humble Bumble book, is that you should be comfortable in uncomfortable spaces. So you should be able to come in and be able to say, hey, I'm going to this dinner party, and I don't know if this is going to be a difficult topic, but I want to maybe bring this as a hostess gift. And the hostess gift could be a book that maybe the hostess would not necessarily find on the front shelf in a box store, but maybe address something that's different. So I have a variation. My favorite teachers and our best customers are teachers. Our favorite customer, our best customers are teachers. And they are buying books for their classrooms, and then they're buying books for themselves. So I have older people that come in as grandparents. They buy something for their grandchild, and they also buy something for themselves too.
Right, because that's what you did for me, because I was looking for, I was like, I need to research this topic. I need to educate myself. Where do I start? And you were like, take this one first, and then look at some others. Although then I sidetracked myself with a self-improvement book, but my next purchase. But I'll come back to it. But that's exactly what you did for me. If you were like, from your perspective, you should try this and read that, and then move forward. Which I appreciate that. Just a frank discussion. In your booth or at your table, wherever we were, with a little bit of education, not just like, here's a book, it's on sale. I don't know what's in it. Here's the price.
Right. Well, that's something that we wanted to specialize in, to make sure that we felt safe in all spaces. So when we walk into different spaces, we should make sure that we feel that we're getting the attention that we need, and that we are able to say, hey, I'm interested in this topic. And that was particularly interesting and important for me with students at the high school level who were trans or just discovering their own sexual identity. That was important for me, that they have safe spaces to say, I'm interested in a topic, or would you be interested in a topic, or without them having to ask, it's available. And if they are curious, and we can say, with some privacy, brown bag, and that's why most of our books are wrapped.
But I love the wrapping that you do.
It's privacy.
I really do like the wrapping. I just think it just adds such a nuance to it, when you purchase the book and it's wrapped, because I can see the book, obviously, as I'm looking at it to consider what to buy, but then in my bag, the book is wrapped.
Yes. So now if a student decides that they want to explore a topic, and maybe mom and dad may not be happy with the topic, it's that student's right to have reading material in the topic of their choice, if it's possible. So that's one reason why we wrapped our books, because we want to make sure that young people had access to material, or if I needed to order something specifically, you can have it wrapped. No one needs to know what you're reading. I would never sell anything that would be inappropriate or unsafe for any child or anyone, so I wouldn't even have access to that, but I do curate lists for special communities. So I'm glad that you found that it was not only a response to COVID, for cleanliness purposes. I love to find the book that no one else has touched, that you can hear the spine crack a little bit.
Right, that is true, you can.
That makes me so excited. So
right, it has that new book smell too, so
that's
always good.
New book smell. I have no social life, clearly, because that turns me on, so excited. So I assume everyone else is so interested in that, and that's why, and if that book is the last book that we're selling, I will sell it at a discount because it's been touched already.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would say I prefer the hard copy of a book as well, because it's not the same reading it on a Kindle or an iPad or even your phone. I mean, especially in today's times, we're all behind the screen or on our phone. And at night, when you're in bed or just hanging out, like the last thing I want to do is look at a screen and read.
True.
So I've seen you, like I said, at so many different pop-ups and different events in New Rochelle. Have you considered a brick and mortar? Is it something on the horizon?
Absolutely. As soon as the rents are affordable and not more than my mortgage, then I will absolutely consider a brick and mortar. I would love nothing more than having the keys to my own shop and community spaces for families who have little ones and they're restless at 10 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock in the morning, or for safe spaces for students to come by and say, look, I want to look into this topic. Safe spaces for folks to read and sip a cup of tea. Yes, and I know that our city will do what it needs to do to make sure that it's fair for all of us, especially the taxpayers and the folks who have been supporting New Rochelle. So I know that that will happen eventually, and I'm just preparing myself, building our customer base, and knowing what works and what doesn't work, so that I'm ready when that happens.
Right, because I would love to see you in a brick and mortar in the downtown. You know, we're developing in the Vanguard District and other places, and there are some grants coming forward that would work with that. So I think that we're looking for experiential stores. You know, just you need to really re-examine what retail has become. But a bookstore is an experience, and people need that. So, you know, that's definitely in line with what we're looking for, you know, within the city and within the downtown. So that would be great.
Yeah, you know, I think we have to be intentional with our purchases. So if we want that and we want community, then we have to, I call it wallet activism. You are activating this in action with your money, how you're spending it. Absolutely, can I outsell Amazon or any other large store? No, and I respect the business model. But we have to shop with small businesses on purpose. And I know that New Rochelle is talking about that. They've spoken to me about it, and other talented folks that we have in New Rochelle. And that's what's so beautiful about this community. There's a variety of talented, wonderful people in New Rochelle. You'll be surprised what talent is right here. You don't have to go to White Plains. You don't have to go to Scarsdale.
Nope.
You have all that we need right here.
Right. So now you're at the holiday market, and you're there for the full duration through December 22nd, correct?
Yes.
And just so everyone knows, the holiday market's open weekdays from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., Monday through Friday. And then on the weekends, it's 12 to 8 p.m. And there'll be a food truck there almost every day with maybe one or two extra during the weekends, free ice skating with free skates every day. And actually, some of the vendors change. Now, you know, Otilia has, you know, a double wide booth, and that she'll be there for the whole time. But some of the others will change. So if you go to the market once, come back, you might find some different vendors. We've got performers coming in on different days as well. And if someone's looking to find more about Humble Bumble, where can they contact you? Do you have social media or a website?
Yes, I'm trying social media. You know, it's just not my thing, so my children reluctantly help me. So we're at, I guess it's at Humble Bumble 914. You can find us at thebookshop.org, which is a platform that supports all independent booksellers like myself. So we have a Humble Bumble store on bookshop.org. And if you Google Humble Bumble Book, you'll find the different platforms where we can be found.
And Humble Bumble will also be the Kwanzaa sponsor at the holiday lighting on December 7th. So depending on when this is airing or when you're seeing it, she will have already sponsored it. We'll have some Kwanzaa, you know, bookmarks that we're giving away and a few other things to just, you know, talk about and discuss and celebrate that holiday as well as all the other holidays that we have within New Rochelle.
Yes. The city looks beautiful right now.
It does,
So
doesn't it? The lights look great.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful time of year.
Yeah. All right. Well, Otilia, thank you so much for coming by, and we hope you come back again in the future.
Thank you for inviting me, Matthew, and thank you, Catherine.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.